All right, so with any project, the first thing we want to do is open up Maya, and the first thing we want to do is just set the project. So I'm just going to make a quick project, file, project window, and do new, and we are just going to call this Cone logo, and I'm going to set it to the desktop. It's a good idea to set things to desktop just because that way you see right where it is. Whenever you're done with the project, you can go through and archive it somewhere onto like an external hard drive, or if you have a larger hard drive internally on your computer. Except, bam. Okay. Now what we're going to do is I'm just going to animate my text as my logo animation. So real quickly, what I'm going to do is just create text. I'm going to hit the option box, and I'm just going to do cone. We'll just do all caps, such as it is. And then there's a bunch of different fonts, and you can choose whatever makes you feel warm and fuzzy. I would suggest something, just because we're doing motion graphics, something a little bit more fun-ish. And none of these are, it's really not that fun. I don't really like any of these, but just click through them. They give you a whole bunch of different options. All right, I don't really know what they're talking about with that one. And you know what? I'm just going to do Comic Sans because everybody hates Comic Sans, so I make a point to try and use it as much as possible. Comic Sans, there we go. People hate it. Comic Sans size doesn't really matter. We want to use bevel. Create bevel at start and end. Basically, bevel is going to make it have thickness. If you do poly, it's just going to be a flat sheet. Curves will draw a curve of it, but it's not going to be useful. I do not know what trim does. Straight out does straight out, but these are basically different ways that's going to handle the outside edge. And you can try different ones and see what you get. So we got straight out, we got straight in, convexed out, convexed in. Let's try convexed out. And we're going to do the same as the inner style and hit apply, and we'll close, and there you go. So convexed out just makes it so it's rounded on the outside, as you can see. Convexed as opposed to concaved, right? So concaved is going inwards, convex is going outwards. Right off the bat, it makes it as one piece. So what I'm going to do first is just go ahead and do mesh separate. So if you're in the modeling, the polygons shelf, you can literally just click this. This is mesh separate, or you go to mesh separate. Boom, and now they're each individual pieces. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is select one, hit the up arrow, which goes higher in the hierarchy, and move this over to the side. Now I'm gonna take this guy. I'm gonna select them all actually. I'm gonna go modify center pivot. That puts the pivot in the center of each one. Okay, before they were all down here, so now they're in the center of each one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to center each one of these at origin. So see how the line's a little bit thicker here? I want them each to be here. So grid snap is X, and I'm just going to grab it and drag it there. Select the next one, hold X, drag it there, hold X, click and drag it there. I did W for the move tool, just as a reminder, and bam. Okay, so now all of them are there. Gloriousness. Now if you look, they have dirty values. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do modify freeze transformations. It zeroes this out, okay, which is good. So so that's all fine and dandy. The other thing I don't like is if you look, they have a bunch of history, which when you go to rig things, it's a good idea to get rid of that. So I'm going to select them all. I'm going to go edit, delete by type, history. Okay, now each one of them are clean. But you see, I'm not a big fan of the name. Polysurface 4 means very little to me. So I'll select it, and I'm going to call it N_geo. So N geometry. Then after I'm done doing that, I'm just going to go over here in the display layers here. I'm going to hit the sheet of paper with a ball on it, which just means create new layer and assign selected object. And when I hit the V, it turns it on and off. Okay. And I'm going to double click on it, and I'm just going to call it N. And we'll hit save. And I will turn that one off. And select the next one. This one's the E. So E_geo. Good. So that's the name of that one. Again, I'm going to click on this ball and paper. So it adds it to a new layer. rename this one E. All right. You can name yours whatever you want, and turn that off. Select this. This is a C. So we're going to do C underscore geo. Geo for geometry. And with the little thing here again, bam, double click on it. And we're going to call this one C. Oops. C. C. Save. And I am not sure where it went. I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. Okay. So add selected objects, just to make sure it's on there. There it is. Okay. I'm going to rename it. So you just right click over it, and I just said add select object. So C and save. So good. Turn these other ones off. And then I'll select this, and we're going to call this O underscore geo. And we will add a new one. And we are going to do O. Save. Good. Okay. All right. So, good. So now I have all of them in there. I'm going to start with my C since that's the my main letter. And what I'm going to do basically at this point is just add the material. So I'm going to right click, assign new material. I'm going to choose blend, just a real basic material. And I'm going to select it in the attribute editor. And I'm going to call it C underscore MAT. C material. Take reflectivity all the way down. I don't want this one reflective. And specular most of the way down. I don't want it that shiny. I'm going to take the color, and we are going to make it a sort of reddish color. Okay? Alright, like so. Good. That's it. I don't really care about doing much more with it than that. That one looks good to me. Turn that one off. So CO would be the next one. We'll select that one. Right click. Assign new material. Again, I'm going to do blend. I'm going to call this O underscore MAT. And same thing as before. Take reflectivity down. Take specular a lot down. Instead of choosing just a color, I'm going to go ahead and assign like a texture to it. So this will do a solid color. This, I can assign one of these. I'm going to do 2D textures, and there's a bunch of different options here. I'm going to go ahead and choose, let's say, checkers, because that'll be fun, right? You see I can't see it here, so what I'm going to do is wiggle in here, hold Alt and middle mouse button, and I'm going to hit 6 to do texture mode, or if you click up here on the ball that has the checkers on it. So as you can see, there it is there. I'm going to select it again, and I'm going to hit, not that one, this one. Okay, let me see. Sorry. Take this one and click this. You see the, let me do that quicker. See how there's just an input thing? So it goes to what's inputting into this. I'm going to click on that. It gives me the material, or the procedural node, but also place 2D texture. I'm going to change my repeat, which is going to make it happen more or less. And I'm going to try 8 by 8. And I think that looks a little bit better. Let's try doing 12. No. Keep that one at 8. And let's try this one at 12. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Just because it looked kind of long. So actually, let's do 16. Okay. And I like that better. It looks a little too dense to me, actually. So go there, here, and I'm going to leave this one at 4, and I'm going to take this one and go 8. There we go. We're going to call that, I'm just going to leave it like that. That looks fine. If I want to change the colors, though, you just go down to the checkers, and you would just change color 1 and color 2, and that will change the color of the checkers. All right. Now I'm going to turn that one off, and I'm going to go to the next one. I got an E here. I'm going to go ahead and assign a new material. And I'm going to do a Lambert. Or I'm sorry, not a Lambert. I'm going to assign a new material. And I'm going to do a blend. And we'll just call this one E underscore MAT. And reflectivity all the way down. Specular color down a whole ton. I'm going to choose a color, and I will actually choose this, and I am going to do 2D textures, and we will do fractal. Why not? You can see it does this, and I'm just going to go ahead and go to color balance and color offset. Sorry, color gain. We'll make that like a yellow. And the color offset, I will make that, let's do purple, see what happens. That looks terrible. Not a fan. We'll do green. There you go. That looks fine. And then I'll just do some adjustments up here. Alright, so we'll see what this does. Okay. And you can play around with all these things if you'd like. Let's do 0.5, tab, 0.5. There we go. Just do a little less. I'm going to call that my E. That's adequate, I guess. Turn this one off. And we'll do N. And I'm going to assign new material. And this time, instead of choosing any one of these, I'm going to go ahead and just do an ocean shader for fun. Okay. And basically what it does, let's see if it actually warps the geometry itself. So you can see it looks a little bit different than what's there. And there's a bunch of different attributes in here, what the scale and stuff is. So let's see if I change the scale a little bit. Well, that didn't help. Let's try going this way with it instead. And there we go. So if you looked, it was warping it like too much. So by making the scale higher, it's warping it a little bit less. Okay, so that looks good. Alright, so I go boom, boom, boom. I got all of my letters, and I have a whole variety of them. And that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and save this as Command-Shift-S. So underneath scenes, and we're just going to call this cone logo underscore v01, because I want to save incrementally, right? So version 01, and cone logo is what this is. So I'll hit save as, and there we go. So I have basically all of my models set up, and I will start rigging them in the next videos.